Let's talk about seasonal stories. Today is the 28th of October. We have a few days, I think it's Thursday, is Halloween. But it popped in my head that the whole seasonal story season is coming up. And there's a lot of different ways to make a seasonal story. And truth told, I've only really made one that's specifically put in place for a holiday. It's currently Monday, so I decided to try and see if we looked a little bit different and how the look and feel of the video went after practice when I'm exhausted and sweaty and dirty and nasty. Happy Murder Monday, everybody. The seasonal stories is interesting because when you put together a seasonal product, it's obviously going to be seasonal. You're going to go for 9 months of not seeing any activity on a seasonal product, and then it's going to sort of flatline and spike up and then go away. If you are smart in pretty much any business that you put together, you can create seasonal pushes at specific points during your year. You can create specialized advertising, you can create specialized offers, etc., and you can invite people in. And as a tangent, since I do pay-per-click stuff, one of the most effective things you can do, especially on some of the modern social media platforms, is target somebody's birthday and send them an advertisement, a promotion, a push message, however you can get a hold of them. But if you're going for like cold traffic for like an ice cream parlor or whatever, and you've got some kind of consumer product you put in front of somebody, start sending that person advertisements for happy birthday, 50% off, happy birthday, come in for your free whatever. And suddenly you change the dynamic of the conversation, because now it's a personalized conversation with an individual, because you've targeted them on their birthday and given them something cool. It would depend upon your industry, but it's the same kind of cool spike, but it's a general holiday cool spike. So you can take and plan surges into your calendar by making stuff specific for a holiday. So if there's a bunch of people looking for Halloween stuff, since it's Halloween, if you create yourself a Halloween story a few months in advance, you plan those events out, you can make a 15,000 word Halloween story in a couple days. You put 2,000 words to paper for 7 straight days, you got 14,000 words. You spend the next week or so editing and going through nice and slow. You spend 2 weeks, you've created a 14,000 word Halloween story. And to give you a frame of reference, when you're doing, like I'm doing interview-based books, every hour of conversation is roughly 10,000 words. So basically, if you can hold out a conversation with somebody, like a smart, intelligent conversation, for an hour, you've got 10,000 words. So that's pretty straightforward. But aiming for that 15,000 word story is not terribly difficult. So if you start assembling those, and you do one for, I don't know, St. Patrick's Day, one for Veterans Day, one for, what's that holiday after Labor Day, you do one for Halloween, you do one for Valentine's Day, you do one for, I don't know, pick your holiday. But if you're producing content for those, and you do a good job of calendaring and scheduling your holiday-based content out in advance, you're going to have some pretty solid spikes worked into your material from people who are not ordinarily going to be finding your stuff. So if you can spend a little bit of time and make a quality Halloween product, for example, you can stumble across potential fans who might be interested in your work just by creating a seasonal-based story, a seasonal-based product, a seasonal-based promotion. And that works across the full gambit of communications. So it's not just stories, like content creation in general. you can probably go crazy with it. Just off the top of my head, I can think of a half a dozen books and stories and picture books and coloring books, all for Halloween costumes. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do just by put your gray squishy bits to work for a little bit, plan it out in August, begin to execute in September. You'll have a finished product by the time October rolls around. You post your product 4 to 6 weeks before you post your holiday-based product 4 to 6 weeks before why are you stopping in the middle of the highway? You place your holiday-based product in front of consumers 4 to 6 weeks before the holiday, when it's had time to work its way through the system. And you can potentially pick up a bunch of new readers, a bunch of new customers, a bunch of new interested fans because they like your fun and well-presented piece of work, piece of content. Try not to neglect seasonal and holiday-based stories or products, especially if you're doing like advertising. I probably need to talk about this too, but probably the most profitable type of writing that you can do is copywriting for like ads and stuff like that. Per hour, per word that you produce of content, if you produce a 150,000 word book and you get paid a couple $100 for it because you failed to advertise or whatever, you get paid $4,000 a month for it as a bestseller, you're probably not going to be doing as well as somebody who's doing copywriting, getting paid $15,000 for a sales letter. If a sales letter is 1,500 words and you get paid $15,000 for your sales letter, do your finger and toe math on that one. You turn around, how many months, how many weeks, how many words does it take you to assemble an entire full-length fiction? It's basically 10 times the amount of text for a short story. It's 100 times the amount of text, 100 times the amount of work for a full-length book. So copy is really valuable. And even in copywriting, when you start hitting the seasonality and the seasonal opportunities, you can seize a lot of quality. So you can schedule that stuff through your ads, through your PPC, through your copywriting. You can schedule that stuff in advance by planning your content calendar. So when you're targeting holidays like Halloween, because everybody goes crazy for Halloween because it's all the ghosts and goblins and zombie stories, and you're going to be seeing a lot of that stuff coming out. So I've got mine, but have you got yours? Have a happy Halloween. I'll put another 1 or 2 out before that day hits. Talk to you later.